Kevin is a former elite choreographer to the world and Olympic figure skating champions and the director of large-scale productions such as the 1988 Calgary Winter Olympics closing ceremonies. Wow. Kevin is a global nomad, a self-styled global nomad whose quest is to discover the leadership qualities of nomadic mindsets that live within all of us. A TEDx speaker, a Marshall Goldsmith stakeholder-centered coach, trainer, and global speaker, he's lived on 4 continents, 15 cities, and visited over 50 countries. He leverages his past and present experiences while working in billion-dollar MNCs and in the EU institutions, sharing his nomadic wisdom on visionary and purposeful leadership. One secret that you don't know about Kevin is that he used to dance the can-can twice at night at the world-famous Moulin Rouge. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Kevin Cotton.
Good morning, everybody. How is everyone today? Good? Yes? We're not going to do the can-can, and I'm not going to do the can-can, because my legs don't go up that far anymore. Anyway, I would like to take you on a little bit of a journey today. And I would, with that journey, I offer you the opportunity to rethink the way you work, the way you develop, and also the way you perform. And what is that opportunity? That opportunity is to increase your awareness and understanding of this research that I've been doing called the Nomadic Mindset, the mindset of the future. Vikram Sharma, who is the head and general manager of HR for Tata Motors in Mumbai, and he said that nobody thought about mindset as nomadic, being nomadic, because usually nomadic is very physical in nature, and absolutely it is very physical in nature, and that's what most people, all of us here, probably think nomadic is. And in actual fact, what I found when I asked the question in my research from over 60 different executives from around the world in multinationals and startups, and I asked them the question, what is the mindset that you need more in your organization now and in the future? And what do you think they said? The nomadic mindset. They said we need more of the nomadic mindset. So what is that? I would like to share a little bit about that. It was when I was in Mongolia. Has anyone been to Mongolia? It's an amazing country. It is so beautiful, the vastness of the expansion of the beautiful rolling hills that feel like velvet in the Gobi Desert. And the people are amazing, and the livestock, you see camels and you people riding horses and all. It's really amazing to feel this. And what happened was I had a conversation with a woman by the name of Batgarel Bat. And she is in charge of the National Branding Council of Mongolia. And she said, nomads, people think of nomads as moving from place to place to find new pastures. In actual fact, that is a dictionary definition of it. However, she said, nomad is the movement of the mind. Isn't that beautiful? Nomad means the movement of the mind. And so understand that we're talking about movement here. We're not talking about people moving from place to place. That's not what I'm talking about. You can stay in the same location and have the movement of the mind, which is the nomadic mindset. And what are those qualities? So for the last 12 months that I have spent, I've been researching, and spent time in Mongolia. I spent time with the Maasai in Kenya. I spent time in Morocco with the Berbers and the nomads. And I was learning about the qualities of these people and what makes them tick. And I was very curious as to how some of this ancient wisdom could really help us in organizations today and leadership today and also talent management. And so wonderful, it was a wonderful experience. And of course, I felt a little bit like on this journey is like Indiana Jones looking for the Holy Grail. You know, and so I was looking for the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail was the nomadic mindset. Where was that Holy Grail? And as you know, as you go on any journey, is that there are many golden nuggets along the way. Nothing is absolutely directly straight. You always find something, new events that are happening. And that's how it happens in organizations on an ongoing business as well. And so what I did was, I thought, well, my goodness, what are some of these nuggets? This was one of the nuggets, for example, the movement of the mind. The next was, the next nuggets were these three. The nomadic mindset, the builder mindset, and the settler mindset. I went along that journey, as I told you, to the Holy Grail. I was looking for the nomadic mindset, and all of a sudden I realized, no. We have three very broad mindsets that live within all of us. And I say three broad. So there's many different qualities that represent these individuals. So these are typologies. And we all know about MBTI and DISC and colors and a variety of these other personality pieces and assessments. And so this is another one, but it gives you a different perspective on individuals. Now, so this was very interesting to me. What are these mindsets? So I'm going to share with you my findings. And I want you to know that you're the only second group of people in the world that has heard this. Not bad, huh? This book will be coming at the very end of the year called The Nomadic Mindset, Never Settle for Too Long. So I'm giving you pre-information of the nuggets that are in that book. Now, so what is the nomadic mindset? Let me give you a little bit of a feeling. So for example, you have someone, an executive, say a leader, incredibly visionary. He's sitting in his desk, he's looking out the window, and he sees a variety of different aspects, very expansive. He sees maybe a lot of buildings, but maybe he doesn't with this person. He's thinking about change management. And in this change management, he says, I know that there will be people that are not really happy with change management. However, we need to change. He sees new pastures ahead. He's the one that sees new path roads ahead. He's very visionary. He's very directed. He's very focused. He's very strategic. This person is a visionary. And we can all start thinking now, they're probably thinking, okay, who are these people in my lives? Who are these people in my organizations? And is that me also? So they think it's very important for you to assess yourself as we go along here. So I would like to share with you I've divided them into strengths and also shadow parts of us. And the strengths are the following for the nomadic mindset. And you can see he's a very curious person, is a nomad. They're very inquisitive. They're very intuitive. You can take a snapshot of it if you wish. They're very interconnected. Now, one of the things that I found with nomads, real nomads, their interconnection between not only themselves, but the environment that they live in, the animals, the external, they are completely one. And what has happened, and what I found with some of my research and talking with people, they have said, we've lost the plot a bit. You know, we've lost our own focus on these qualities within ourselves. So these are the very positive pieces. Now, as I shared with you, that all the executives that I talked to, and this information comes from executives, not me personally, and so what they said about the shadow parts, in fact, many of them said, we don't see the real shadow parts of a nomad. In fact, they're all really wonderful qualities. However, there are a few. Lack of focus. Sometimes you can be very nomadic and be very lack of focus, okay? And very independent. A lot of the time, because nomads in the wild, they're very independent, but they're very family, so that could be team, and they're very community oriented. They're very centered around these aspects of society. And this is one thing, and so they can be skeptics. They can be too independent and they can leave people behind. They can really go off like on a camel or a horse and just take off and leave people and leave the organization behind. But that's not truly, a real nomad does not do that. They, in actual fact, stay. So what's the next one? The next one are the qualities of the builder. Hema, who is the head of security at the Mauritius National Bank, she said to me, these three qualities, these three typologies are very much like building a house. The architects are the people who are the nomads. Then we have the builders that build the house and put all the construction and everything. And then we have the settlers, are the people that are there for the long term. They're the maintenance. And we can all start seeing these typologies as I talk, the people which work within your organization. And these are some of the qualities of a builder. They're really, really passionate about the work. They're very, very driven. They're very fast. They're very thinking. They're sometimes A-type personalities. They're sometimes extremely task-orientated. They really are conscious about the final results. And they are very much, they go the extra mile. They will they'll move past 9 to 5 into long hours into the night. We already know, and we can start seeing again who those types of people are within your organizations. And now, they're also methodical thinkers, they're also intellectual thinkers. Now again, they have a shadow side. And that shadow side are this. They can be really, they can be very, very rigid at times. They can also work too fast. They can lack appreciation. They can move too quickly and leave people behind, which you see some of these which are nomadic, but not truly. These particular builders are sometimes will do things that are unethical and maybe not correct legally. And they will also they can be very stubborn. They will say, it's my way or the highway. They can also be very, very driven, so they drive people to burnout on an ongoing basis. So these are the types of people, these are some of the shadow sides of them. Now, we move into the next realm. And so the next one is the settler. So the settler. So imagine the settler is the person that is the glue of the company. They're the type of people that have stayed maybe in Topayo all of their life. Their families have stayed in Topayo all of their life. They have not moved from one location to the next. They go on little vacations with the family and whichever, but they often go to the same places. They're very, very driven within a company. They're the base of the company. They just keep it humming. They are very important to the company. And they are the type of people who are very empathetic. They are generally people who will do their 9 to 5 and then say, okay, now I have my balance, I go back to my family. You can start seeing the sort of type of typology. And they also hold, which I think is interesting, is the wisdom of the company, the history. And they are the ones that stay for long periods of time. So they stay the longest in organizations. The nomads stay the least, and the builders will stay in the middle. They will stay in between as far as staying in organizations. Because I know that sometimes you have today this focus on talent retention. Let me share with something about talent retention. And that goes along with this because it's important about the longevity of some of these qualities or typologies of people who stay within organizations. When I was in Morocco, I was given a story about and Berbers, which are some of the nomads of this area, they are real business people. And that is their main focus, is business. And what do they do with people? They actually will say, okay, come into the company. So they bring people into the company. They teach them everything. They want them to know everything about the company. They teach them all levels. So they're not overly specialized, but they learn everything. But they don't want them to stay. They want them to stay for a while, learn, go, grow, create their own company. Now they're loyal to me. They come back to me as a company, and then they create another company, the other people, and this is how they grow the networks. This is how they grow their businesses. So the whole point of holding on to your people and seeing them as the bottom line and thinking about, oh no, they're costing me this much. You know? No, it's not about the number. It's about the human learning and growing and developing, just what this conference is about, this is what this room is, and performing. And then letting them go, let's see how we can bring them into the fold, keep them loyal. All right, settler. So here we are. Now the settler parts of them which are shadow sides. And that is, they're resistant to creativity, they're risk averse, they hate change, keep the status quo. Let me have my own job, I will just do it the way it needs to be done. And they are very rigid sometimes. So they're not really into innovation. They're not necessarily into change. They are slower moving. And that is also important to understand that they're the slowest of movers. The nomads are the middle. They can go up or down. And the builders are the fastest in moving and shaken as they go. So these are the three mindsets and the research that I have found. Now I want you to know, this is also extremely important, that these three mindsets exist within all of us. We just have a dominance for one more than another. And an organization also has a dominance for one more than another. So let me just share with you a little bit about that. How does that work in organizations? So if we think about the trajectory, the evolution of organizations, and as we were talking about HP, you know, how it's evolved, the thing is that there is a mindset that goes through, and that mindset is generally driven by the vision of the CEO. And where that CEO is going, it will start to penetrate through the organization as to what will happen. So for example, take the wonderful case study of Nokia. Nokia was extremely nomadic from 1990 to 2000. And then they started to just go into builder, bottom line, increase results, more money, more market share, more. Okay? And the problem is that they did have they did have smartphone technology in 1996 and they couldn't figure out how to do it. However, then they stopped, they just kept on their own trajectory with their own phones. 2006, they got a new CEO who came from finance. Okay, so where do you think the finance man was driving it? Numbers. What happened? He says, no more smart technology. 2007, smartphone came out and pretty much the end. So that went into a settler mode mindset and then into dinosaur mode. All right? One has to be very careful within organizations because when you start to get into that too settled, you're going to be losing that nomadic feeling of the next pastures. You need to have this bit of disruption, this energy that is keeping going. Okay, that's part of that. So for ourselves, it's the same thing. Now, as I said, we have all of these in us. We have all three within organizations, and they happen at different times in our life. So for example, I'm very nomadic. I may at some point become a little settled. I don't think so because that's not really my true mindset. It's that what happens with age, sometimes we become more settled. And that means in the mental state. I like to share with you that if there's a shape that goes along with this is a nomad. This is where his expansion in thinking is. And that's his mindset. And when you go to a builder, they're more here. And when you go to a settler, they're more here. Their vision of the world, their vision of themselves is less. Certainly people can go, there's breakaways that start off as settler and then move into nomad. But that comes from something that's happened within their teaching, their learning, their abilities. So this is really very cool. Now, I would like to do a little polling. So let's have some fun with the polling. First polling question is, I would like you to ask you, whoops, where is the polling? Here, first question. What do you think your dominant mindset is? So here you go. This is how you get onto it. I've never done polling, so this is a new experience for me. I'm becoming a bit nomadic in thinking of different technologies, so this is cool. As you can see, I'm not very technically orientated with clickers and all sorts of things. So that's the first question. Are we all in? And the results. Okay. So we have 21%, 18%, 17%, 64%, 19%, 17%. Aha. Ooh. Okay. Very high builders in here. And that's probably because of the areas that you're in HR. Most of you are in HR, right? And so in talent management. And that also, the different roles take on this. Now the question here is this is 63, 64, it's measuring, all right? Builder mindset. You need to ask yourself in your teams, what do you need? Do you need more builders or do you just need the same as you, which is more builders? And you remember that more builders are not going to make the big changes like nomadics will. You may need to think, okay, I need to bring in my team some people that are nomadic thinking, so to increase that. Because this is what happened in Microsoft at one point. At Microsoft, what happened was is that they went for a very long time very nomadic, and then they had Ballmer, and then they were having recruiting, and the recruiting was doing much of the same, and including much of the same people and mindset that they had had. And so they were regurgitating the same and bringing in more. What happened when they got the new CEO, he became very nomadic, and things started to change in the organization. Because now we're starting to bring people that are not the same as me. Or you don't want the same with you all the time within your teams and organizations. And that you need to think about. Okay, the next one is, the next question, what does your organization need more of? Look where we're going on this. Okay, this is very telling, huh? Remember what I started off by saying, that most organizations and most of the people said that they need to have more nomadic mindset thinkers. Yay for the nomads. Okay, so let's, so the thing is here, you can see that in your organizations there was too many builders, and that's what you don't need. So here we go. All right, this is wonderful. Thank you very much for doing that. Okay, so what have we done in this particular session? I've talked to you about some of the golden nuggets on my journey. And that I think very exciting is the nomadic mindset. All right, it's the mindset of the future. I've taught to you about the nomadic mindset, the builder mindset, and what's the third one? Settler mindset. All three of those exist within all of us. And it's very important, may I share with you one last thing, is imagine that you're in the South Sahara and you're a nomad, or just yourself you're visiting. And what you do is you go and sit at the very top of a dune in the early morning, as this is exactly what they do. And they look, and they see the expansiveness, and they look and they say, where's the rain? Where's the rain today? Because it rains very rarely. Where is the rain? And what do they mean by that? They mean by that is opportunity. Where is the opportunity for you to grow, to rethink the way you work, to rethink the way you do your mindset? That is what this is about. It's about the opportunity. And you have the opportunity to grow and expand and to find new mindsets. So I want to thank you very much. And if you would like to know more information, you're more than welcome. I will share it with you, just so that you know that's me in the Sahara. You didn't see me, the first you saw me with my turban on. It has been an incredible journey, and the journey continues. I'm continuing to doing research. I'm continuing to spending time with a variety of other nomadic cultures in the world, because I believe, they have a lot to give us and a lot to learn. I want to thank you very much, and thank you to HR, and you can all stay in a little yurt when you go to Mongolia. Thank you.
Kevin, before you go, I just wanted to invite you to stay on stage. We ask you a couple of questions, just to pique my interest, right? Just to pique my curiosity. So the first question I have for you is this mindset kind of like cultural, like certain countries, certain nationalities more rich in a particular mindset, like a nomadic mindset? Or is it like Singapore is really kind of new to mindset?
Okay, so that's a very good question, and I'll just tell you about what some of my research had from Singapore, and they said that Singapore needs more nomadic mindset. They need new possibilities, need to create new possibilities. That's what I've been told. Is it cultural? Yes, it can be cultural. There is a piece which is culture, in which I am now also, with further research, I am looking into as to what is the effect on cultural. And I also, when I was in, for example, if you're talking about nomads, for example, is that when I was in Morocco and sitting in a little tent, the guy that I was interviewing and having a conversation with, he said to me, he said, how different are we from the Mongolians and from the Kenyans? And I said, there's really no difference. The way you are and the way you see the world and the way you live in the world and your qualities are pretty much all the same. So those are different cultures. And what happens is that when we shift to urban society, that's when we start losing it. Because of all the pressures of other things, of work and whatever, that's when we start losing this nomadic mindset. Never lose it. You know why? Because it's within all of us. We were all nomads. All of us were nomads when we first started. In the very beginning of life, we were nomads. Somewhere along the line, we stopped having the nomadic feelings. And we started to become really settled and really happy with where we were. And it's all good. It's all good. But we need that spark. And that's what grows us individually as well as organizations.
Fantastic, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you to Kevin Collins.